I lost at Truth or Dare. Jin Kwan, that Buddha-like woman, was punished to send a divorce text to her own little husband. She knew full well we'd been married for 6 years. The one thing I couldn't bear to hear was the word divorce. Just as he was racking his brains trying to figure out how to appease me, he suddenly received a message of agreement. The woman hurried home. His heart was extremely uneasy the entire way. Opening the door, he saw me sitting on the railing, with 300 meters of open air behind me. Yet this scene actually made the panic on his face fade into something more carefree. "You're threatening suicide again." He looked at me with deep disappointment. After all, every time he got tangled up with his childhood sweetheart, I always loved using suicide threats to manipulate him. He waited for me to make demands like before, but this time I only smiled gently at him, then without any warning spread my arms wide and fell straight backward. After being brought to this world by the system for 6 years, I was finally going home. Host: System detects the target's love index. Below 60, world departure is possible. Do you wish to apply? My eyes filled with pain, but I still chose to leave the world without hesitation. Host has applied to leave the world. Congratulations, you can return to your original world in 7 days. Looking at the night scenery outside the window, I felt endless emotion. 7 days, all of this would finally end. I was a strategist. 6 years ago, I accidentally came to this small world. Originally, it was just to resolve the risk of this small world's collapse, to soothe the female lead Sophia's near-explosive darkness level, caused by the male lead William's escape from their wedding. In the end, Sophia's darkness level successfully decreased, but consequently, Sophia's love for me also reached 100. The system said if I left at that time, it would likely cause chaos in this small world. I had no choice but to continue staying here. But Sophia's love was like blazing sunlight. Day after day of being together, I unknowingly fell in love with Sophia too. Finally, 3 years ago, I made up my mind to stay in this strategy world. But it wasn't until the runaway groom, William, returned that I realized how foolish my original decision had been. Watching William send me intimate photos of him and Sophia as provocation, while Sophia's love for me dropped to 60 at that same time, I sat by the floor-to-ceiling window, smoking and crying for an entire day, until the sky turned ink black. I deeply exhaled a puff of smoke, and called out to the system, "If I leave now, it won't cause the small world to collapse, right?" "No, it won't, host." After getting that definitive answer, I applied to the system to leave the world, solemnly marked the departure date on my phone calendar. Just as I was about to close my phone after doing all this, I suddenly received a message from Sophia. "Bring 2 packs of hangover medicine. Blue Joy Club, room 808. I smiled mockingly. Hangover medicine. Sophia couldn't even be bothered to make up decent lies anymore. I randomly ordered 2 boxes on a delivery app, then turned off my phone and went to sleep, half asleep and half awake. A cold electronic voice suddenly broke through, shattering the originally peaceful night. "System alert. Target's current love index is 65. I sat up groggily. Something wasn't right. Why did the love index increase? While having the system confirm, I picked up my phone and turned it on. Countless missed calls and WeChat messages popped up one after another. I opened the chat with Sophia. The screen was full of Sophia's apologetic texts and long voice messages. For a moment, I couldn't tell, between the chat page in front of me and my own head, which one was greener. "Honey, don't misunderstand. Tonight was a friends' gathering. William drank too much and took the wrong phone. That's why the message was sent to you. You know how. William is so careless like that. Please don't be angry, okay? Honey, why did you turn off your phone?" I only glanced at a few lines, before not wanting to continue reading. There's a saying that's true: one lie requires countless lies to cover it up. Friends gathering. Sophia probably forgot. What she told me in the afternoon was, she had an international conference to attend tonight. Whatever, since I'd already decided to leave. I didn't care what Sophia and William did. It was all the same to me, just that the love index absolutely couldn't rise any higher. Host: Data shows everything is normal. Analysis indicates your performance tonight caused the target to experience regret and wavering emotions, leading to a love index rebound. The system confirmed several times, and could only suggest I pretend to know nothing. Go along with Sophia's affair. William's provocations. Maintain stable numbers. The next day, after I finished washing up and went downstairs, I discovered downstairs, beside Sophia, there was one more person, William. The two sat on the sofa, at a very intimate distance. Thinking of that recent night when the love index dropped, it was exactly the day William returned to the country. That day, Sophia said she was working overtime at the company. Actually, she went to the airport to pick him up. Even during this whole time, every time Sophia lied about working overtime or attending business dinners, she was actually accompanying William. Perhaps this was the power of the small world's male lead. I didn't want to think about it anymore. Shaking my head, I continued downstairs. Seeing me come down, Sophia hurriedly stood up, speaking with composure. William just returned to the country. Living outside is ultimately unsafe. He can stay at home for a while. Is that okay? William restrained his smile and called out Brother Gordon, then stood obediently behind Sophia, waiting for me to nod in agreement. That appearance was as if the person who'd been sending me provocative messages daily was someone else entirely. I found it amusing inside, but didn't show it on my face. Looking at these two, I said, "Of course. I'll have someone tidy up the room next to the master bedroom. You can stay there." Hearing me say this, William directly put his arm around Sophia's shoulder, curling his lips into a smile. "Thanks, Brother Gordon." The words sounded nice, but the look in his eyes toward me was full of hostility. Through daily interactions, the love index kept dropping. I could finally confirm the system's method was correct. For the time ahead, I just needed to play the clueless fool, cooperating with, or rather facilitating, these two, making Sophia keep getting closer to William. This way, Sophia's love for me would keep decreasing, and I could break free from Sophia's emotional hold, successfully leaving this strategy world. The photo wall next to the living room, at this moment, was already covered with photos of William and Sophia together. The newest one was from today, just moments ago. Their photo together in the greenhouse. Two heads pressed together, behind them a vast field of champagne roses, like a wedding photo. While on the photo wall, all those photos of Sophia and me that used to hang there had been torn down completely, carelessly thrown on a nearby table. Looking at them, my heart couldn't help but ache. My gaze unconsciously drifted through the floor-to-ceiling window, toward those two people in the garden. Unexpectedly, meeting William's eyes, I clearly saw William flash a victor smile, then lower his head, lean down to kiss the corner of Sophia's mouth. Sophia smiled too, pulling William closer to deepen the kiss. I looked away, staring at the photos of Sophia and me. Time had passed so long, some photos had already yellowed. Like our marriage, it should be thrown away. But Sophia's next decision truly caught me completely off guard. For William's sake, she would actually, without hesitation, prepare to abort our child, as if discarding a burden, eager to get rid of it as soon as possible. When the system informed me of this news, I silently covered my face with both hands. Unstoppable tears spilled through my fingers. Finally, I forced a bitter smile to comfort myself. This was for the best, since she had already started moving toward a new life. I had no need to keep fantasizing. Besides, I'd be leaving soon anyway, so some things needed to be sorted out. What should be thrown away, throw it away. Take this chance to completely sever all connections between us. Not just photos, but also Sophia's handwritten love letters, gifts from various anniversaries, precious collectibles bought at auctions with lavish spending. I gathered them all up, one by one, temporarily throwing them in the storage room. I had just finished organizing everything when I looked up to see the two of them returning. As soon as Sophia saw me, she quickly ran over. "Why do you look so pale?" Sophia's warm little hand touched my forehead. No fever detected. Only then did she finally relax. "Why did you leave so early today? Where did you go without taking the driver? You didn't answer your phone either. Did you eat breakfast? Is it low blood sugar?" Sophia squeezed into my arms, question after question, as if she was truly worried. "I'm fine, but why do you look so unwell?" Sophia's eyes darted away as she left my embrace, dismissively answering, "No, it's just the sun was a bit strong outside, got a little sunburned." Then, without waiting for my response, she quickly changed the subject. Sophia's answer didn't surprise me. I didn't ask further, just silently looked outside. "Did you finish taking photos?" When Sophia heard me ask about the photos, her expression showed no unnaturalness at all, calmly answering, "We finished." William said he wanted to take more photos to send to his parents, to let them see. Sophia's words sounded quite righteous. She was the daughter of the Zhang family's driver. At age 9, after her biological father died in a car accident, she was raised by the Zhang family. The debt of upbringing couldn't be forgotten. All these years, she had long regarded the Jong parents as her own biological parents. I had nothing to say. William actually picked up the conversation. Brother Gordon, those photos of you and Sophia, I noticed many had yellowed, so I took them down first. I thought I'd help you reorganize them. You're not angry, are you? Of course not. William smiled back. That's good, but where are your photos together? I remember putting them on the table. I threw them away, Sophia asked in disbelief, her voice raised, those passionate peach blossom eyes, nearly welling up with tears at this moment. Sophia grabbed both my hands, looking straight into my eyes. Honey, you threw away all our photos together. Why? Sophia's voice even carried some barely perceptible choking. I didn't understand. Sophia and William had done everything they should and shouldn't have done. Now they'd even brought him home. And still she wanted to perform deep affection in front of me. Just 55 points of love. Was that really so much love? For a moment I felt confused, wanting to directly expose Sophia's false lies. But thinking of the system's advice, I could only suppress all the complex emotions in my heart. I didn't throw them away. It was too messy. I just took them to the study to organize. Sophia's tightly furrowed brow suddenly relaxed. Don't ever say things like that again. Do you understand, honey? Every moment with you is worth recording. Those photos are more precious than my life. Sweet words that once moved me, now only made me feel sick when I heard them. I had to bite my tongue hard to suppress the nausea rising in my stomach. The next day, watching the footage the system projected, Sophia lying calmly on the operating table. I was still thinking about Sophia's words. Those photos were more precious than Sophia's life. Then what about me? What about our unborn child? Before, Sophia would carefully track every menstrual cycle, just to maximize the chances of getting pregnant. And I would prepare brown sugar water for her every month in advance. This month her period was half a month late. We had a child. If this were before, Sophia would have discovered it immediately and excitedly told me. But now she secretly came to the hospital alone, lying on the operating table, to complete the abortion surgery by herself. And without the system, I would have known nothing about any of this. Sophia rested in the recovery room for 2 hours. After the anesthesia had mostly worn off, everything normal, she left the hospital. At the villa, William lounged leisurely on the sofa, like the master of the house. With Sophia absent, he dropped that pitiful act. Gordon, Sophia loves me. Why are you still clinging here and not leaving? Don't you feel ashamed? Those messages I sent you before, you saw them all, didn't you? We're quite compatible in bed too. Is Sophia that passionate with you? I didn't bother acknowledging him. Walking straight upstairs, William, ignored by me, became even more furious. Directly chasing after me, William stood on the step 2 levels higher, looking down at me. What's the meaning of not speaking? Don't think avoiding can solve problems. I couldn't understand Sophia, nor could I understand William. The two of them liked each other. That was enough. Since William had already captured Sophia's heart, wouldn't it be more convenient to have Sophia ask for divorce? If Sophia wanted a divorce, could I really cling on and refuse to let go? Thinking of this, I directly voiced my thoughts. You can have Sophia divorce me. I won't refuse. But I didn't expect these words would actually excite William. William gritted his teeth and spoke viciously. Gordon, if you knew what's good for you, you'd bow out voluntarily. As soon as the words fell, William gathered his strength and kicked me down the stairs. After I prepared to leave this world's body was already becoming weak. Rolling down the stairs, I felt pain throughout my entire body. William, are you insane? Aren't you afraid Sophia will find out? William stood on the steps, seeing my agonized state, curled his lips into a smile. You don't actually think between the two of us Sophia would choose you over me, do you? Then William walked down and lay beside me, then called Sophia. Sophia, save me. I opened my eyes and witnessed all of this, struggling to try to stand up. If Sophia came back, my body's abnormal condition couldn't be hidden. The love index that had already dropped might rise again because of this. What if it affected the love index, then, whether fake or sincere? I didn't want to take that risk. I didn't dare gamble, but I was really overthinking. Sophia rushed over. Seeing William and me lying on the ground, she ran straight to William's side. William, how are you? Tell me quickly, are you bleeding? Don't be afraid. I'll take you to the hospital right away. Sophia frantically helped William up, had walked several steps, before realizing I was also lying on the ground. She looked at me, her tone somewhat annoyed. Gordon, only brainless women would play these kinds of tricks. I won't argue with you. Rest for a bit. William has a bleeding disorder. I need to take him to the hospital first. I'll check on you when I get back. Lying on the ground, I felt my body temperature continuously dropping, as if all the blood in my body was rapidly draining away. I don't know if I briefly lost consciousness for a while. When I woke up, I finally regained some strength. After struggling to sit up, I realized what just happened wasn't a hallucination. Blood flowing from the back of my head had already soaked my neck. Sophia never came back. I didn't want to alarm the other people in the villa. With shaking hands, I called a car, forcing myself to get to the hospital. My God, how did you fall so badly? The bleeding has stopped now. Fortunately, you didn't hit any critical areas. Stay in the hospital for observation tonight. We'll see how your recovery goes. This was the doctor who performed my surgery today speaking. Seeing I was alone, he couldn't help but ask, "Where's your wife? I see you're married. You're injured this badly. Your wife isn't coming to take care of you." I felt like I might be a bit too pathetic. Even this doctor I'd only met once looked at me with several parts pity. Only the doctor and I were in the hospital room. I didn't need to worry about that damned love index. My words became unrestrained. She died, rushing to see her lover, driving too fast and crashed to death as the words fell. I felt completely relieved, rarely showing a few traces of genuine smile. But that doctor's expression looked even worse, seeming to want to comfort me, but really having nothing to say. The next day, at the hospital entrance, I saw Sophia and William together. William wore a black men's coat, held in Sophia's embrace, carefully helped to the back seat of the car. Just as the car started, the driver saw me in the distance. "Should we stop, Sophia?" Before Sophia could speak, William clutched his shoulder first, crying out in pain, "Drive." The gas pedal Sophia had released was pressed down again. The Rolls-Royce roared past me, without the slightest pause. Inside the car, William's eyes brimmed with tears. Yet he was still speaking up for me. "Sophia, Brother Gordon probably didn't do it on purpose. Don't be angry with him anymore. The day after tomorrow is my birthday. Let's invite Brother Gordon to celebrate together." Sophia looked deeply at William, not understanding why the human heart could be so kind. I was clearly so gentle and good, yet why could I be so cruel as to push William down the stairs? William has a bleeding disorder. Most afraid of bumps and bleeding. Wasn't I trying to kill William by doing this? And William was still foolishly speaking up for me, even now. Sophia shook her head, finally sighing and saying, "Fine." Just then, the system alert sounded again. "System alert. Target's current love index is 50. Still standing at the hospital entrance. The cold winter wind cutting through to the bone. Yet I couldn't tell if it was the cold or the chill in my heart. In just 2 months, love had decreased by half. Could 50 points of love still be called love? Shouldn't love be pure? I silently asked the system these two questions that had troubled me for so long, but the system obviously couldn't understand such complex emotional issues. "Host, I don't understand." I smiled bitterly, no longer dwelling on these things. 3 days from now would be the day I left. I thought it was time to meet with this world's friend. One last time, in this small world. My only meaning for existence was Sophia. Therefore all these years, I had only made one close friend. When Ethan heard the news that I was going abroad, he was stunned for a long time. "Why so sudden? I've never heard you mention this before." The strategy and system matters. I couldn't explain, so I could only half-truthfully say, "William has returned." I didn't want to keep revolving around Sophia anymore. When I got home, Sophia was applying medicine to William, but those movements could hardly be called innocent. They looked like they were about to merge together. I glanced once and turned away, heading straight upstairs. But unexpectedly, Sophia called out, "Gordon, William isn't holding a grudge about you pushing him down the stairs. That doesn't mean you don't need to apologize." I turned back to see William's smug eyes, and Sophia's face hiding anger. For a moment, I didn't know what to say. "William, you're saying I pushed you?" William didn't answer, just tugged at Sophia's sleeve and persuaded, "Sophia, it's all in the past, I'm not hurt." Sophia took William's hand in hers, her anger growing stronger. "Gordon, fine. I apologize." After saying this, I bent down directly. "I'm sorry. It was my vicious heart, my petty villainy, that made me do something as despicable as pushing someone down the stairs." William was so angry he was jumping, but with Sophia present, he could only silently endure it without saying a word. Can I go now? I asked Sophia with complete openness. For no reason, Sophia suddenly felt a moment of panic. Considering her words carefully, Gordon, William is young, but he's suffered a lot during these years abroad. Be good to him. Fine, don't argue with William. He truly sees you as his brother. The Jong parents are gone. Now that William has returned, the three of us will be family from now on. Fine, I answered crisply, but inside I thought, what future? With me being so agreeable about everything. Sophia didn't know what to say for a moment. It seemed like ever since William returned, I always liked to quarrel with her. These past few days especially, Sophia was determined to give me the cold shoulder. I didn't want to say more either, but seeing me turn to leave, she asked one more question. I saw Ethan's social media. He said it was his last time seeing you. Said he couldn't bear to part with you. What does that mean? When Sophia brought this up, my hands at my sides clenched for a moment, then quickly relaxed. I looked at her, my gaze clear and open. Ethan said he's going abroad next month. Probably won't be easy to see him again. Sophia unconsciously breathed a sigh of relief. For William's birthday party, the day after tomorrow, if you want, you can invite him too. That night, Sophia never returned to the master bedroom. I seemed to have gotten used to it. I could sleep peacefully in a bedroom without Sophia. But tonight the moonlight outside was especially bright. I woke up unable to fall back asleep. So I took advantage of the darkness to take that large box of things I'd organized in the storage room, carried them all to the garden, and burned them clean with fire. Those yellowed photos were devoured by flames, first curling together, but soon reduced to nothing but ash. The temperature wasn't enough. The remaining gifts, the gold and jewelry, couldn't burn completely. The grayish-black mass looked quite ugly. 2 servants living in the villa, seeing the firelight from the garden, rushed over. Sir, what happened? The last bit of firelight extinguished. All evidence of our former love disappeared. I casually dusted off my hands. Nothing. Just burn some trash, bury it randomly in the greenhouse soil. Yes, sir. I walked back to the villa, feeling completely relaxed. But tonight's moonlight was really too bright. I only had to look up slightly to see at the second floor's floor-to-ceiling window those 2 tightly entwined figures. The thin curtains were gripped tightly into bunches by a pair of hands. Sophia was being dominated from behind by someone, in a position that left no escape. In the blink of an eye, it was William's birthday. The birthday party was personally organized by Sophia. The party location was creatively chosen to be at sea. 3 cruise ships sailed side by side toward international waters. Before it was even dark, the banquet hall of the middle cruise ship was already bustling with activity. At the center of the crowd, Sophia held William's arm, dancing a couple's dance to the melodious piano music. Everyone's faces wore happy smiles. I was happy too, because after today, I could completely escape this strategy world. The dance ended. William approached me with a drink. Brother Gordon, I'm so happy you came. Will you have a drink? This one's non-alcoholic. Since you had surgery, you can still drink this. I wasn't surprised William knew about this. After he pushed me down the stairs, he would inevitably go to the hospital to check records. I calmly took it and had a sip. Thank you. Seeing me drink that wine, William's expression barely concealed his excitement. William avoided the surveillance cameras, step by step, leading me to a secluded balcony. Brother Gordon, you still don't know that Sister Sophia aborted your child. And you know what? If Sophia knew you got into a fight over another woman, wouldn't she be very angry? But my wound, wasn't it caused by you kicking me? You're talking nonsense. William's voice unconsciously grew louder. The force I used to push you could never have caused that kind of wound. You were already injured. That's when I kicked you. So you admit you kicked me. William unknowingly fell into my trap, clenching his fists in anger. Since there's no one else on the balcony anyway, he said directly, so what if I kicked you? I waved my phone with a mocking smile. Nothing much, just that I recorded it. William was so angry he was jumping, raising his hand to throw my phone into the sea. But my smile grew even wider. Just kidding, I didn't record anything. Before William could relax, he heard me say, but there are cameras in the villa's living room. Before I could finish speaking, suddenly, a wave of dizziness hit. My legs went weak. My eyes could barely focus. Seeing this, William, his previously furrowed brow suddenly relaxed. Smiling, Gordon, what are you smiling about? You wanted to say there are recordings in the villa's living room, right? I had those deleted long ago. Did you really think I would leave evidence that could harm me? Gripping the balcony railing tightly, I managed not to fall. Gritting my teeth, I asked haltingly, "William, what did you give me to drink?" "Just a little something to make you happy. Sophia never brought up divorce with you. Isn't it just that she minds me living with someone else abroad for years? Now it's perfect. Once you're dirty too, Sophia will be with me." I never could have imagined that, in broad daylight, William would actually do something like this. And not far away, a strange man was already walking toward this direction, getting closer and closer. My mind grew heavier and heavier. I bit down hard on my tongue tip. A few drops of blood flowed from the corner of my mouth, but I was only clear-headed for a few seconds before William grabbed me by the collar and threw me in front of that strange man. All the blood in my mouth gushed out. I looked completely disheveled. William wasn't satisfied enough, lifting his foot to kick viciously at my chest. Custom crocodile leather shoes. At this moment, like a demon's weapon, William finally vented his anger. Only then did he crouch down, speaking each word viciously. "Gordon, you just enjoy tonight. You don't need to hope Sophia will look for you or save you. She's still waiting for me now. Sophia and I will be together all night, with me keeping her company. You can rest assured." My whole body was powerless. Someone took me to a strange room. All along the way, those greasy, disgusting hands kept wandering over my body. Before even reaching the room, my clothes were already disheveled, completely messy. Just as the door was pushed open, that person pressed me down and kissed me. This was a kiss mixed with blood and violence, under complete domination. The pain actually made me more alert. Just one more day, and I could return to my original world. I couldn't just accept my fate like this. From the corner of my eye, I saw a glass vase on the nightstand. My movements no longer resisted. Instead, I leaned forward. The person on the bed heard this and laughed once, as expected. "Women still can't satisfy you, right?" After speaking, he dragged me onto the bed. With a crash, I seized the opportunity to grab the glass vase, hitting it hard against the back of that person's head. Glass shards scattered everywhere. Blood and water mixed and flowed down. In an instant, everything was in chaos. Both my hands were trembling. My heart was pounding. My thoughts were jumbled. Part of me thinking I had killed someone. Part of me celebrating that I was finally saved. But before I could relax, the person lying on the ground actually got up. "You little pretty boy, you dare hit me." That person cursed and was about to pounce. I panicked and ran blindly, raising the broken vase bottom in my hand, hitting and stabbing. I don't know how long it lasted. The world went quiet. When I opened my eyes, that person lay at my feet, face unrecognizable, covered in blood, constantly trembling and struggling. I was so frightened I could barely hold anything. The blood-stained vase bottom crashed to the floor, again scattering glass shards everywhere. I stumbled and ran to the door, but the door was locked from the outside. Without guessing, I knew it was William's doing. I could only retreat back into the room, looking at the man constantly writhing on the ground. I felt so sick I wanted to vomit. Not wanting to stay in the same space as this person, I hid on the balcony, locking the balcony door. After confirming the person outside couldn't break in, I finally felt safe curled up in a corner of the balcony. By now the sky had turned completely dark. On the nighttime sea, the ocean wind raged, the air salty and humid. Looking at the thick darkness before me, I felt like I was about to be consumed by this darkness. I was just one step away from a complete breakdown, and the system alert suddenly sounded at this moment. System alert. Target's current love index is 25%. I was too tired to think about why the love index had dropped so much again. Just peacefully waiting for dawn, I confirmed with the system. After daybreak, I could escape this strategy world. Meanwhile, before William went to find Sophia, he also drank a cup of spiked wine. At this moment, the two were tightly entangled on the big bed. Sophia looked at William's dazed and intoxicated, completely uncontrolled appearance, grateful that fortunately the person William encountered was herself. On the big bed, a night of passion, until the faint light of dawn, while I, on the balcony, watched in the distance, that red glow on the horizon growing brighter and brighter. My heart excited. Sunrise was coming. The red sun was rising. I stood up, leaping from the balcony into the endless deep sea. After falling into the water, I firmly issued my final command. System, leave this world. Yes, host. A gentle ray of light descended. I disappeared without a trace in an instant. Even the ripples that had just formed from falling into the water gradually returned to calm. Someone come quickly. Someone fell into the water. Someone come quickly. On the deck, Several young people who had come out early to watch the sunrise, seeing someone fall into the water, were so scared their mouths hung open, frantically shouting for rescue. The peaceful morning was broken by these shouts. The cruise ship's staff quickly took their positions. After confirming the location where someone fell with those people, they immediately launched rescue operations. Several people stood on the deck, constantly confirming the location with rescue personnel. Yes, right there. I saw more and more people gathering on the deck, while the search and rescue personnel had already gone into the water in several waves. Even now, the search area had quietly expanded several circles. The longer the time passed, the slimmer the chances of survival. Before they came, their leader repeatedly emphasized that the people on these 3 cruise ships were either rich or noble. They couldn't afford to offend any of them. They must give their absolute best effort. Upon hearing the distress calls from the deck, they immediately went into the water to rescue. But there was simply no one there. They couldn't help but doubt whether anyone had actually fallen, or perhaps this was just a prank by those rich kids on the deck. But they only dared think this. The rescue efforts never stopped for a moment. Those young people on the deck also fell into argument. Did you actually see someone fall into the water or not? Of course I saw it right there. Didn't you say you saw it too? I didn't see it. I just heard a splash. If someone fell in, they'd call for help, right? Exactly. Wouldn't anyone struggle a bit? That's true. Are you sure you saw? Could it be you weren't fully awake and were seeing things? Ah, no way. As they talked, these people also fell into self-doubt. The hands of the clock moved. In the blink of an eye, half an hour had already passed. Whether on the deck or on the rescue boats at sea, the atmosphere grew increasingly tense. Everyone was clear that if someone had truly fallen into the water, after such a long time, they would certainly be dead. In anxiety, staff pulled up surveillance footage from the deck area. See, I told you I wouldn't see wrong. The surveillance video clearly captured the scene of someone falling into water. Now no one doubted anymore. Some people gazed at the sea surface waiting for rescue progress. Some stared at the video constantly dragging the progress bar, trying to see clearly who the person was that fell, while the tense atmosphere on the deck had no effect whatsoever on Sophia and William. In the room, the air was thick with the scent of passion. Sophia lay in William's arms, worriedly asking, "William, are you still uncomfortable?" William didn't speak, pressing his head tightly against the top of Sophia's hair. After a long while, he said suggestively, "Not uncomfortable, very comfortable." Sophia looked up at William, thinking of last night's passionate affair. William had groggily told her it was because he drank the wine Gordon gave him. A shadow passed over Sophia's eyes. During this time, Gordon had been opposing William at every turn. Before, when he pushed someone down the stairs, William didn't make a fuss, just asking for an apology and letting it go. She never expected Gordon would escalate further, giving William this kind of drug. When had Gordon become so vicious? Sophia kissed William's lips again and again, her movements gentle, but her words were very firm. "Gordon actually dared to do this to you. Don't worry, I will definitely seek justice for you." When William looked up again, tears were already gathering in his eyes. "Sophia, I'm so scared. Yesterday, he even told me to stay away from you, or he'd kill me. Sophia, can you divorce him? If Mom and Dad knew you were with such a man, they wouldn't rest in peace even in their graves." The Jong parents had been kind to Sophia. He deliberately brought up the parents now, just to pressure Sophia. But when Sophia heard these words, her eyes became somewhat evasive. "Divorce isn't a small matter. Don't worry, with me here he wouldn't dare. William, I won't let you suffer any grievances." Sophia hurriedly got up, washing and dressing. She didn't know why. When William just mentioned divorce, she suddenly felt a moment of panic. Divorce was impossible. She absolutely would not divorce Gordon. But what about William? She thought she loved Gordon wholeheartedly. Ever since William returned to the country, she realized she had never forgotten William. Only now did she belatedly understand. She seemed to have fallen in love with 2 men. Sophia felt restless inside, and completely failed to notice William on the bed. His vicious expression at this moment. William's eyes were cold as he clenched his fists, but in an instant he relaxed again. Even if Sophia still had feelings for Gordon now, but after a while, once she personally witnessed Gordon actually lying in a stranger's bed, he didn't believe Sophia still wouldn't divorce Gordon. The 2 quickly arrived outside Gordon's room. Sophia knocked twice on the door. No one opened. Sophia's patience ran out. She directly called bodyguards to kick the door open. But where was Gordon's shadow in the room? The bed was made neatly. Nothing in the room showed signs of being disturbed. Gordon seemed to have never entered this room at all. Seeing this, Sophia's anger grew. Made a mistake and didn't dare face it. Just knew how to hide on a cruise ship. How far could he hide anyway? Sophia randomly pointed at several people. "You few go bring the sir over. If you can't find him, search room by room." Several people quickly dispersed. Sophia wearily rubbed her temples, turning toward the restaurant, walking while thinking about what to do after finding Gordon, to make him remember the lesson. But before she could think it through, several people blocked her path. "Miss Sophia, finally found you. Something happened, Miss Sophia. Someone fell into the water." "No, it seems it wasn't falling. It was jumping into the sea. Suicide by jumping into the sea." Sophia asked seriously. This birthday banquet was personally organized by her, with celebrities gathered. How could such a thing happen? Several people, in a few words, explained everything that happened on the deck this morning. That person wasn't very tall, and moved very quickly. The video footage couldn't see the person clearly. The rescue team is conducting underwater rescue, but it's been over half an hour. The speaker looked at their watch again. Actually, it's been an hour now. Probably more bad news than good. Sophia had built her fortune from nothing, climbing up step by step. She was more composed than these second-generation heirs. "I'll contact a professional salvage diving team. You call some people to go to the surveillance room together. Determine the identity of the person who fell. The salvage team will take at least 3 hours to arrive." Everyone knew this was just to retrieve a body. "But I need to see the person, dead or alive. I need to see the body, no matter who it is." Sophia couldn't just leave someone in the sea. Sophia came to the deck, seeing the cruise ship's rescue personnel, diving and searching over and over, but all returning empty-handed. The discussions of people nearby echoed in her ears. Such a lively party ruined by this person. Don't know who it is, really unlucky. Anyway, it can't be any of the party guests. Otherwise there would have been an uproar already. Why would they need to bother checking surveillance? Makes sense, probably some service staff on the ship. The sea wind howled around Sophia's ears. It suddenly began to get noisy. A strong sense of unease quickly surged in her heart. The phone rang. Sophia didn't know what was wrong. Suddenly she was a bit afraid to answer, until just before it automatically hung up. Sophia finally pressed the answer button. "Miss Sophia, we found the person who fell into the water." The hesitant words from the other end made the unease in Sophia's heart intensify. Her other hand clenched tightly into a fist, nails carving several deep marks in her palm. She asked hoarsely, "Who is it?" Sophia herself hadn't realized. Her voice was already trembling. The other end only managed to say, "Miss Sophia, you should come see for yourself." Sophia looked around aimlessly, not knowing what she wanted to see, before turning and walking away. After just a few steps, those people she had sent to find Gordon also came running over one after another. "Gordon?" Sophia's voice sounded a bit urgent. Those people shook their heads dejectedly. "We searched every room, didn't see him, but there was one room." When Sophia heard they hadn't found him, the panic in her heart intensified. That suppressed impossible thought instantly magnified. Could the person who fell into the water be Gordon? Sophia asked herself this question, but immediately denied it again. It can't be. Gordon must feel he did something wrong, and is hiding, too afraid to appear. It must be like that. Sophia didn't want to hear all that nonsense. Directly interrupting, "Then go find him again. Don't miss any corner." Several people scattered again. Sophia also didn't stop walking, heading toward the surveillance room. Along the way she was still thinking, since Gordon was so scared, after finding him, if William didn't mind, she could just let it go. After all, William hadn't suffered any real harm. Thinking about all this, Sophia actually rarely smiled, as if she had found a good way to balance between these two men. So when she reached the surveillance room, seeing everyone's hesitant expressions, all that smile froze on her face. "Miss Sophia, the person who fell seems to be your husband, Gordon." Sophia couldn't believe it. Staggering back several steps, these words struck like thunder from clear skies. Sophia felt that at this moment, even her breathing was about to stop. She trembled and roared, "Impossible." Sophia pushed past everyone, lunging toward the surveillance screen. In the enlarged surveillance footage, in the bottom right corner, you could barely see a man's curled figure, apparently on the balcony. Then as daylight broke, that man stood up like a swallow, without hesitation leaping and jumping down. This video was even blurrier than the first one. Sophia gritted her teeth, her resentful gaze staring straight at everyone. Based on this blurry video where you can't see the person clearly. You fucking tell me this is Gordon. Why don't you say it's your husband's? Speak up. Sophia was usually a cold and elegant boss lady type, courteous and reasonable to everyone. This was the first time they'd seen her so furious. Someone gathered courage and stepped forward, moving the mouse, pulling up another video. Miss Sophia, please look at this one. This was surveillance footage from a hallway. In the video, you could clearly see Gordon was disoriented, his steps unsteady, being led by someone toward the room at the very end of the hallway. All along the way, those greasy hands kept moving over Gordon's body. Sophia watched the video, Gordon's helpless struggles and flowing tears. Her eyes turned completely bloodshot. But now the key issue was no longer that Gordon was bullied by that man, but that person carefully stated the facts. Miss Sophia, they entered room 309. That corner of the balcony captured in surveillance is room 309. She didn't believe it. Gordon was just hiding, too afraid to see her. Sophia grabbed that person by the collar, screaming hysterically, "Impossible." I said impossible. As the words fell, she violently shoved the person away, running frantically toward room 309. Inside room 309, at the end of the hallway, was complete chaos. Glass shards everywhere on the floor, congealed blood, a man barely breathing. The people who followed Sophia, seeing the chaos inside, were all shocked. That man heard footsteps, thinking someone came to save him, excitedly calling for help toward the door. "Save me," Sophia looked at the man slowly crawling toward her. Just now, the surveillance footage kept replaying in her mind. He had taken advantage of Gordon's unconscious state to assault him. With those filthy hands, how dare he? Sophia stepped forward 2 steps, stomping hard on that man's right hand. Sophia put all her weight down, grinding continuously, her sharp high heels piercing through his palm. That man felt the pain, cold sweat pouring but unable to pull his hand free. His fat body rolling constantly on the ground, his arm twisted at a strange angle. "Where is Gordon? It hurts, help me." "I'm fucking asking you where Gordon is." "The balcony. He's on the balcony. I didn't do anything. Please, I beg you." Sophia lifted her foot, but before that man could relax for a moment, she gathered strength and kicked him hard. Sophia pushed open the balcony door and stood at the entrance, her feet heavy as if filled with lead, unable to take another step forward. Just moments ago, she still had the last bit of hope. Perhaps Gordon was hiding in a corner of the balcony, waiting for her to come rescue him. But the empty balcony, where was Gordon's figure? Sophia's hands trembled. Her whole body felt struck by painful electric current. Her heart ached as if it would split open. Since last night, the constantly growing unease finally completely erupted at this moment. Until now, Sophia finally had to accept reality. Gordon was dead. Dead from jumping into the sea, unable to bear it anymore. Sophia's legs went weak. She collapsed to her knees. Before her was the vast deep sea, embracing everything and devouring everything. Sophia didn't dare think. If she had cared more about Gordon last night, would none of this have happened? Full of regret with nowhere to place it, Sophia ran back into the room with red eyes, grabbing the man on the ground and throwing punch after punch, watching that man breathing more out than in Sophia's hands like a piece of rotten meat, completely silent. People nearby rushed over to stop her. "Miss Sophia, you can't keep hitting. Stop now. Someone's going to die. Get away." Furious, Sophia was beyond reason, knocking those people over. She had completely lost control. At this moment, Sophia was completely irrational. She truly wanted that man dead. William saw this and directly hugged Sophia from behind, those large hands resting on Sophia's waist. "Sophia, stop hitting. I'm a bit worried." William's voice carried a tremor, but his heart was already blooming with joy. God knows, he originally only wanted to use this incident to make Sophia divorce Gordon. Who could have imagined Gordon would be so despondent, actually jumping into the sea to commit suicide? This was perfect, but William's beautiful fantasy was quickly shattered. Now he seemed to have lost any privilege with Sophia. Sophia used just one hand to throw him to the ground. "Get out. All of you get out." William fell to the ground, staring with disbelieving eyes. He had never seen Sophia like this before. Was Gordon really that important in her heart? But no matter how important, he was just a dead person. What could a dead person compare to the living? William quickly comforted himself. William hadn't felt secure for even a few seconds when those people Sophia had sent to find Gordon came running over in a hurry. What they said only shocked him. "Miss Sophia, the rescue team found a phone underwater. It seems to be the Sirs." Sophia finally lifted her head from her rage. Her eyes were now completely bloodshot, as if they might drip blood. Those people lowered their heads, not daring to look directly. "Miss Sophia, please accept our condolences. Although Gordon's body hasn't been found yet, everyone knows, after falling into water for several hours, even a reincarnated immortal couldn't survive." Sophia slowly stood up, letting out a cold laugh. Her expression filled with sharp brilliance. "Condolences? What condolences should I accept? Who said Gordon is dead? Just based on a phone." Sophia didn't shout or yell. Her low questioning was even more oppressive. The person standing in front answered nervously, "Miss Sophia, this phone case. What about the phone case? It's just an ordinary phone case. How can you say it's Gordon's? Is this how you look for people? All the surveillance footage, on the deck, witnesses who personally saw Gordon jump into the sea, the phone found in the ocean, each and every piece of evidence seemed to tell Sophia that Gordon had jumped into the sea, that he was dead. But Sophia, who had always been decisive in business, seemed to have lost the most basic ability to judge. She erected around herself thick barriers, one after another, just to block out that truth everyone knew. Several friends really couldn't bear to watch. Speaking to persuade her, "Sophia, calm down. We all know you're sad that your husband is gone, but deceiving yourself like this isn't the answer. Yes, Sophia, the dead cannot return to life. Please accept our condolences." Sophia's gaze slowly swept over those who had just spoken, not speaking but with clear warning intent. Several people wisely shut their mouths, but William recklessly ran to Sophia again, hugging her tightly. "Sophia, they're right. Brother Gordon is already gone, but the living still have to go on. Sophia, you still have me. I'll always stay by your side." Sophia stood motionless, but her thoughts uncontrollably returned to last night. Last night she had tightly embraced and intertwined with this man, spending a night of passionate entanglement, while at that time Gordon was trapped in danger, struggling hopelessly. Thinking of this, she felt that William in her arms was no longer soft and delicate, but like some terrifying beast. She pushed him to the ground again. After hitting walls twice in a row with Sophia, William was both physically hurt and emotionally angry, simply sitting on the ground, silently lowering his head to appear weak and gain sympathy. More and more people gathered in the room. Several brothers who had decent relationships with William couldn't stand it, saying, "I'm not trying to be harsh, but Gordon is dead. Miss Sophia, what are you performing this deep affection for?" Performing deep affection. Sophia stared in disbelief, repeating, "What's wrong? Am I not right? Miss Sophia, during this time, haven't you been with William? Now that Gordon is dead, isn't it perfect timing to make room?" Exactly. At the last gathering, you personally admitted that William was the most important man in your life. Gordon dying is just perfect. What's this performance for? These cruel words reached Sophia's ears one by one. Sophia instinctively wanted to deny them, but she discovered these people were stating facts Sophia had no way to refute. Collapsing powerlessly to the ground, her shoulders hunched together, curled into a pitiful posture. Only now did Sophia's tears finally fall. Sophia broke down, covering her face and crying aloud. She had clearly promised to always love Gordon wholeheartedly. In just a few years, she had repeatedly ignored Gordon for William's sake. She thought she could balance everything well, but it turned out she couldn't do it at all. Even trading Gordon's life for William's birthday, she had personally caused Gordon's death. Sophia forced a bitter smile, finally accepting the reality of Gordon's death. "Give me my husband's phone." As soon as the words fell, William suddenly stood up excitedly, directly reaching out to intercept. "No." Everyone's gaze turned to William in unison. William nervously trembled, but still tightly clutched Gordon's phone. He still remembered last night on the balcony, when Gordon said he had started recording. William didn't know if it was true or false, but better safe than sorry. He had worked so hard to have everything he had now. Now that Gordon was dead too, soon he could possess Sophia. If everything was exposed because of a recording, wouldn't all his efforts be wasted? Thinking of this, Gordon became even more determined, directly hiding the phone behind him. "Sophia, This is Brother Gordon's relic. Let's go back together and organize these things properly. To honor Brother Gordon, okay. Looking at it now would only add to the sadness. The urgent matter is to salvage Brother Gordon's body. William thought he spoke reasonably, but Sophia wouldn't listen to a word. Hand it over. I won't say it a third time. William no longer dared say anything. Holding the phone, he shuffled forward in small steps. During these few steps, William repeatedly pressed the power button. He secretly prayed the phone had been soaked too long, and would never turn on again. But just as he was handing the phone to Sophia, the phone screen suddenly lit up. William panicked, reaching out to take it back but grasping at air. After Sophia took the phone, she silently removed the phone case. When she saw the photo of the two of them inside the case, she froze for a moment. Then, as if unable to bear it anymore, cried until her whole body shook uncontrollably. The photo had been soaked in water, already somewhat faded and blurred. But the smiling faces of the two people in this photo had long been deeply carved into Sophia's heart. This was the photo from her and Gordon's marriage certificate. She had liked it so much she printed 2 extra copies. Her copy was kept in her business card holder. Every time she gave someone a business card, she would enthusiastically introduce, saying, "This is my husband." Gordon's copy was kept in his phone case. The more she recalled the past, the harder the present reality became to accept. Why did she ever betray Gordon? Sophia turned on the phone with tearful eyes, wanting to see if Gordon had left her anything. The phone screen wasn't very responsive. Many apps wouldn't open. Sophia tried them one by one, finally managing to open the audio files, only to unexpectedly hear William's voice. "Brother Gordon, you still don't know that Sister Sophia aborted your child, do you? And you know what? If Sophia knew you got into a fight over another woman, wouldn't she be very angry? The force I used to push you could never have caused that kind of wound. You were already injured when I kicked you. You're laughing. Gordon, what are you laughing about? You want to say there are cameras in the villa's living room, right? I had those deleted long ago. Did you really think I would leave evidence that could harm me? Just a little something to make you happy. Sophia never brought up divorce with you. Isn't it just because she minds that I lived with someone else abroad for years? Now it's perfect. Once you're dirty too, Sophia will be with me. Gordon, just enjoy tonight." The recording ended. The chaotic room fell so silent you could hear a pin drop. Sophia looked at William in disbelief. The audio file automatically looped. William's voice sounded again. "Brother Gordon, you still don't know that Sister Sophia aborted your child, do you?" Sophia couldn't believe. William's voice in the phone sounded so foreign. So that day, Gordon had learned about what she was hiding from him, and it was William who had kicked Gordon down the stairs, then actually turned the tables to frame Gordon instead. And everything Gordon suffered last night was all planned by William. Sophia pounded her head forcefully. She could hardly imagine how much injustice Gordon had endured during this time. He was bullied so badly by William, yet never complained to her even once. That's exactly right. She had disappointed Gordon. She was a complete bastard. William was the murderer. Then she, Sophia, was the accomplice. At this moment, Sophia's sharp gaze stared directly at William. William's face was deathly pale, his lips trembling. "Sophia, listen to me. It's not like that. William, you should jump down and apologize to Gordon." Sophia's voice was like a demon from hell. As soon as the words fell, not only William, but everyone else's faces showed terror. They had just witnessed firsthand how vicious Sophia was to the man who assaulted Gordon last night. If no one had intervened, that man would have been beaten to death. Now when Sophia told William to go join Gordon, it definitely wasn't just a simple threat. William's knees went weak. He collapsed directly to the ground. Speaking through tears, "Sophia, you can't treat me like this. I know you're heartbroken that Brother Gordon is dead, but this isn't what I wanted to see either. I just wanted him to step aside so I could be with you. Sophia, I just love you too much. Is loving someone wrong?" William cried pitifully, word by word, expressing his love for Sophia. "Yes, I did wrong, but we're childhood sweethearts. We clearly liked each other. Why did you have to fall for Gordon who suddenly appeared? You promised you'd always wait for me, always love me. Sophia, have you forgotten? Just pretend Gordon never existed. Let's start over, like before, okay?" William knelt on the ground, pleading desperately. Quite a few people were moved by his words, their expressions changing from initial contempt to sympathy. After all, every family has its troubles, especially these second-generation heirs. They'd grown up watching their mothers deal with mistresses. William's tactics really weren't anything special. If anything had to be said, it could only be that Gordon was too incompetent and pathetic. One drink had cost him his life. Someone couldn't bear it and pleaded for William. Miss Sophia, what William said isn't unreasonable. Shut up. Sophia had no more patience to listen, directly interrupting. William, never appear before me again. And don't let me discover you're still hiding anything from me. Hearing Sophia's words, William shook his head, crying, No, I don't want to. Sophia, please, for Mom and Dad's sake, forgive me this once. Sophia, I love you. I can't live without you. Sophia looked at William, her eyes completely cold, without a trace of affection. If not for Mom and Dad's sake, do you think you'd still be alive today? William refused to give up, still trying to say something more, but several perceptive people dragged him away by force. If this continued, Sophia might disregard the Zhang family's past kindness and really throw William overboard. The people in the room gradually all withdrew. That man Sophia had beaten half to death had also been dragged away long ago. Sophia sat alone holding Gordon's phone, collapsed on the ground, feeling her heart squeezed by invisible hands, as if she might suffocate and die at any moment. Once upon a time, she felt her entire heart was completely filled by Gordon. Gordon would smile at her. He could be happy all day, and Gordon was just as completely devoted to him, never imagining there would come a day when he'd lose Gordon. He still remembered that wedding between her and William years ago. She had been thoroughly humiliated by William. Back then, she held the diamond ring waiting for William to arrive, but William had already abandoned her and gone abroad, leaving a message through a friend. Sophia, does a driver's daughter even deserve to marry me? Sophia was deeply hurt, locking herself in her room, drinking day and night, finally drinking herself into the hospital. And her first meeting with Gordon was in that hospital. After that, Gordon was like a beam of brilliant sunlight, bursting straight into Sophia's life, leading her out of that emotional darkness. Later, Sophia confessed to Gordon under the moonlight. She said she was the moon that couldn't see light. Gordon was her sun. Only with Gordon did she have the will to live. Gordon laughed and called her cheesy, but still his eyes reddened. Under the moonlight, he nodded and accepted her confession. Sophia still remembered when she held Gordon tightly in her arms. The words she spoke, "Then you must always love me. If you don't love me, I'll leave. Don't lie to me. I know everything." Sweet memories of the past now brought only heartache when recalled. Sophia gazed toward the balcony, murmuring absent-mindedly, "Gordon, is it because I lied to you that you wanted to leave? I'm sorry." Sophia seemed to have slept hazily for a long time, but when she woke and checked the time, only half an hour had passed. Her hands were covered in fine wounds. The dried blood looked ghastly. If Gordon were still here, he would definitely scold her for not taking better care of herself while getting the medicine box to tenderly bandage her wounds. But Gordon wasn't here anymore. Sophia casually wiped her face, clearing away the tears. Gordon was brilliant sunlight. He wouldn't be swallowed by the sea. As long as Gordon's body wasn't found, no one could arbitrarily sentence him to death. Sophia's expression became crazed and eerie. Anyone who came near would be frightened by her. In just a few days, everyone else gradually left. The 3 cruise ships became just one. Besides Sophia, only her subordinates remained, along with the professional salvage team. Sophia did nothing from dawn to dusk each day, just staring blankly at the endless sea, sometimes talking to herself. Someone once quietly approached and heard a few words. "Gordon, where are you? Stop hiding, okay? I know I was wrong, Gordon. Come out and let me see you. Or how about I come down to join you?" Sophia's words clearly indicated thoughts of following him in death. Her subordinates didn't dare leave, staying close to guard Sophia constantly, afraid she might do something foolish. This continued for 2 full months. The salvage team gave up first. "Miss Sophia, this is like looking for a needle in a haystack. It's been 2 months now. We don't want to deceive you and earn this dishonest money. This person definitely can't be found. Miss Sophia, please accept our condolences." Compared to 2 months ago, Sophia had completely changed. Anyone who saw her would find it hard to believe that this person with sunken cheeks, dry hair, and disheveled appearance was the formerly cold and beautiful Sophia. Sophia looked defeated, gazing at the turbulent sea. After a long time, finally saying, "Hold on for 1 more month." Sophia didn't speak loudly, but her tone carried undeniable determination. Seeing her like this, the salvage team didn't know how to comfort her, sighing and agreeing. A month later, when the salvage team approached Sophia again, before they could speak, Sophia took the initiative to say, "I know, we'll go back tomorrow." The cruise ship that had sailed for 3 months finally returned, but Gordon would never come back. Sophia disembarked, hurrying back to the villa. On that cruise ship, Sophia couldn't find even a trace of Gordon's unique scent. The salty smell of sea breeze made her nauseous. As soon as Sophia got home, she rushed to the study. She remembered Gordon saying their photos together had been organized in the study. But when Sophia entered the study, she was stunned. The photos weren't there at all. Sophia couldn't believe it. Like a madwoman, she searched room after room, and only then did she suddenly realize many things seemed missing from the villa, not just photos. The love letters she'd handwritten to Gordon were gone too, and the collectibles she'd bought at auctions that Gordon had once carefully arranged on the gift wall in the study, all gone now. Sophia's eyes turned red, gathering all the villa's servants together, coldly demanding who had done this. But in her voice was a barely perceptible nervousness. A terrifyingly awful thought lurked in her heart. She didn't even dare touch it. The butler and servants looked at each other, helplessly shaking their heads. 2 servants slowly raised their hands. "Madam, there was one night when the sir burned things in the garden. It seemed like those things." What else they said after, Sophia could no longer hear clearly. That last bit of hope in her heart completely vanished. She staggered back several steps, almost unable to stand. Burned. Gordon burned all those things. Sophia's hands hanging at her sides trembled, finally realizing something terrible. Gordon had planned to leave long ago. When exactly had it started? Sophia cried again, vision blurred with tears, helplessly wailing, "Gordon, you lied to me. I don't believe it. I must find you." Over these months, Sophia's muddled mind gradually became clear. Past memories rapidly returned. She suddenly thought of someone, Gordon's friend Ethan. Back then, Ethan had suddenly posted on social media, saying he couldn't bear to part with Gordon. When Sophia asked about it, Gordon only said Ethan was going abroad next month, and would be hard to see again. The string in Sophia's brain suddenly tightened. Was Ethan really going abroad? Or was it actually Gordon who was leaving at that time? Sophia's heart sank, hitting her head, not daring to think further. Frantically pulling out her phone, she called Ethan. After 2 rings, the call was answered. "Ethan, where are you?" Ethan on the other end was confused. "I'm at home." "Why? Did something happen to Gordon?" Sophia's voice and tongue were trembling, forcing herself to stay calm as she continued, "You didn't go abroad." "What do you mean go abroad? Wasn't Gordon the one going abroad?" Ethan still hadn't figured out what Sophia was getting at when the call was ruthlessly hung up, and on this end of the phone, Sophia gripped the phone tightly, her eyes blazing red. "Behind my back he was going abroad. He even told Ethan, but didn't reveal a word to me." In Sophia's mind, the recording from my phone began looping again. "Brother Gordon, you still don't know that Sister Sophia aborted your child, do you?" For these 3 months, Sophia had stayed at sea, only focused on searching for me, who had jumped and disappeared. But the cruise ship had to return eventually. When Sophia returned to the home we shared after these 3 months, everything she had deliberately avoided was now unavoidable, all laid out bloodily before her. Every detail of her interactions with me during this time was pulled out by Sophia one by one for careful recollection. Sophia didn't dare admit it, but the truth could only be that one thing. I had known about her and William all along. Sophia loved me deeply. I was the warm sun that led her out of darkness. She absolutely couldn't leave me. But William was the beam of light she had been chasing since her youth. Whenever he appeared by her side, she would uncontrollably be drawn to him again. Sophia thought she had hidden it well, but apparently that wasn't the case. When exactly did I find out? Thinking of all this, even though Sophia was reluctant, she still handed my phone to her assistant to recover the files inside. She needed to know what exactly William had done during this time. How many more things had William's hand in them? After the assistant left, the front door closed. The villa returned to quiet. The servants stood aside silently watching. Sophia sometimes bow her head and cry, sometimes look up and laugh maniacally, thinking their mistress had gone mad. Each kept their heads down with lips sealed, not daring to look, much less make any sound. Fortunately, before long, Sophia went upstairs alone. Sophia locked herself in the room, not eating or drinking, lying on the master bedroom's big bed, breathing hard, but still unable to sense even a trace of my scent. Sophia bit her inner lip tightly, resenting that I was heartless, leaving nothing for her, but then immediately slapped herself hard twice, hating herself for being a bastard, for losing someone as wonderful as me. Sophia couldn't help but recall every detail of the past 6 years. 6 years was such a long time. Sophia didn't dare imagine how she would live without me. The moon set and sun rose. Early the next morning, the assistant brought the recovered phone to the villa, but at the same time brought a special document. Miss Sophia, there's one more thing. You seem to be pregnant again. This is your test report. Sophia acted as if she hadn't heard, only focused on checking my phone, opening the chat records between me and William. The messages inside were all William's provocative words. Gordon, I'm back in the country. Can you leave Sophia's side? Sophia and I are truly in love. You were just taking advantage when she was vulnerable. Since I'm back, can you stop clinging to her? Gordon, just give up. You saw it, didn't you? Even if you fell dead on the ground, Sophia would only have eyes for me. Between the text messages were many photos of disheveled bedsheets. Sophia flipped through page by page, almost tearing her eyes apart. William, Sophia's temples throbbed, gritting her teeth as she spoke those 3 syllables, as if making a death pact with William. The assistant, seeing Sophia like this, was also terrified. Miss Sophia, please calm down. No matter what, the Zhang family was kind to you, and William is their only son. You can't disregard past relationships. Hearing about the Zhang family, Sophia's expression seemed to soften slightly, but before the assistant could relax, she heard Sophia say word by word, fine, then I'll pay the Zhang family with my life, Gordon's life and our child's life. Let William and his child accompany them. Hearing these words, the assistant broke out in cold sweat. Sophia, was she really planning a life for a life? The assistant was about to persuade further, when outside the villa, sudden urgent knocking sounded. Sophia, Sophia, it's William. Please open the door. Did you see? You're carrying my child. Hearing William's voice, the assistant ran toward the front door, afraid that being a step too slow would let William break in, just as Sophia frowned. But Sophia stopped him, her voice brooking no argument. Let him in. The assistant was torn. The villa's front door banged open. William stumbled in. Sophia, did you see? You're carrying my child. From now on, the 3 of us will be together forever, okay? For the first few days after returning from sea, William had been having nightmares. Sophia was too frightening. He felt Sophia would really kill him, but he had worked so hard to escape back from abroad. His parents were gone too. If he didn't hold on to Sophia, how would he survive? William struggled, not knowing what to do. Fortunately, things took a turn. Discovering Sophia was pregnant again. Sophia had been alone since childhood. What the Zhang family could give her was just some material help. William understood Sophia's longing for family. With this child, all the things he'd done before, Sophia would surely forgive. William's calculations were good. Unfortunately, he still underestimated my weight in Sophia's heart. Hearing his words, Sophia's face showed disgust and revulsion, but not a trace of anticipation. William couldn't believe Sophia could be so heartless toward him, walking to Sophia's side with eyes full of tears, reaching up to carefully touch her lower abdomen, grasping her hand and crying pleadingly, Sophia, I know I did wrong, but that wasn't my true intention. I just loved you too much, wanted to be with you. Mom and Dad seeing us so happy would definitely be joyful too. Sophia, don't you think so? Sophia listened to William's aggrieved words, her mind filled with all his provocations toward me. Ha! Sophia let out a cold laugh, grabbing William's chin, her gaze cold and thin, but the force in her hands gradually increased. William, you still dare come looking for me? William was frightened by Sophia's appearance, reaching out both hands wanting to push Sophia away, but afraid of hurting her child. After just a few moves, William gave up, resisting, lying on the ground like a pile of mud, trembling lips struggling weakly. Pain and fear made his tears flow down his face. A few drops fell on Sophia's hand. Sophia disgustedly let go. On William's face, several clear finger marks immediately appeared. Sophia looked at the disheveled William, casually tore up that test report, throwing it on William. A child? Ha! I would only have children with Gordon. As for this bastard in my belly now, someone take me to the hospital. He wants a child. Then I'll hurry up and give birth to it now. Give birth now. How is that possible? It's just an unformed embryo now. William collapsed to his knees, his whole body trembling constantly. Sophia clearly intended to abort their child. William panicked. He had thought this child would be his bargaining chip to win back Sophia. Instead, it became the catalyst that made Sophia even more insane. Watching the butler run out to get the villa's bodyguards, William couldn't hold back anymore and screamed in breakdown. Sophia, why are you so cruel to yourself? Just to abort my child. You clearly love me. You abandoned Gordon for me, again and again. Why are you treating me like this now? Just because Gordon is dead, are you going to remain faithful to him? William screamed until his voice was hoarse. But Sophia didn't even bother to spare him a glance. Watching several bodyguards run in, coldly ordering, "Take him with me." William, seeing this, made a huge scene, not letting anyone approach. But he was just one weak man. How could he match several strong, sturdy men? In an instant he was subdued, dragged out with both hands restrained. "Sophia, you ungrateful bastard. You're the one who cheated. How can you blame me? You can't control yourself. You only know how to take it out on others. What kind of thing are you? Sophia, just wait. You'll definitely get your comeuppance." William finally saw clearly Sophia's ruthlessness and cruelty, cursing non-stop all the way out of the villa. The assistant, afraid of causing trouble, still boldly tried to persuade a few words. Sophia wearily waved her hand. "It's just an abortion surgery. I won't be in danger, and compared to all the suffering Gordon endured, this is nothing." As she spoke, Sophia's voice choked up, opening her mouth. She couldn't continue. After a long while, her emotions finally calmed somewhat. Sophia then instructed her assistant, "Go investigate William's experiences abroad later. The more detailed, the better." "Yes, Miss Sophia," the assistant responded and left. After the servants cleaned up the house, they all hid in the auxiliary building. After returning from the hospital, Sophia stayed alone in this huge villa, feeling as if abandoned by the whole world. Unable to bear this sober longing, Sophia opened the wine cabinet and several bottles, not using glasses, directly gulping them down one after another. Once the alcohol hit, the pain in her heart lessened. Sophia locked herself in the villa like this, not eating or drinking each day, just relying on alcohol to numb herself. Sophia lay disheveled on the ground, unable to tell if she was drunk or sleeping. In any case, she had few lucid moments all day. However, Sophia was satisfied with this unconscious state, because in dreams she occasionally saw me. The me in dreams was still so gentle, my lower abdomen slightly swollen, wearing a loose long dress. I stood in the villa's garden, trimming flower branches, smiling as I looked at her. The evening sun's afterglow fell on me, beautiful like an oil painting. Sophia watched from the side, unconsciously mesmerized. I walked to her, looking at her with a bright smile, telling her to take good care of the child. Sophia was so excited, she didn't know what to say, foolishly scratching her head. I laughed at her silliness, but she didn't mind, treasuring the person before her in her embrace. The scene in the dream was too beautiful. Even Sophia, in reality, smiled happily. Then Sophia moved closer emotionally, wanting to kiss my lips, but the next second her embrace was empty. I had disappeared too. Gordon, Sophia hurriedly reached out, wanting to catch the person in her dream, but grasped only air. Sophia suddenly opened her eyes. Before her was the empty villa. Where was any Gordon? In Sophia's rare lucid moment, she felt everything in the world had lost its color. Her heart seemed gripped by invisible hands, squeezed tightly, unable to beat, unable to breathe even a little. Sophia painfully covered her chest, gasping heavily, as if only constantly calling my name could provide some relief. Gordon, I'm sorry. Sophia truly knew she was wrong. If time could start over, she would definitely love me wholeheartedly. But unfortunately, it was all too late. I had left without saying a word, not even giving her a chance to make amends. Sophia simply couldn't imagine how she would live in this world without me. Sophia smiled bitterly and shook her head, fumbling around for 2 bottles of wine, drinking straight from the bottles. If I could only appear in her dreams, then she'd rather stay drunk forever. Sophia stayed drunk for a long time. When she woke up, she was in the hospital. The butler, seeing her finally awake, immediately teared up. "Miss, you're finally awake. You've been unconscious for 7 days, lying down too long." Sophia's mind was completely muddled. She could only ask, "Where's Assistant Yang?" "Assistant Yang came to see you early this morning, then went back to the company. I'll call him right away. The butler said this, and ran outside the room to make the call. Sophia lay on the hospital bed, undergoing a series of professional examinations. Severe alcohol poisoning. Both liver and kidneys have varying degrees of damage. You need to pay attention to recovery going forward. You can't be discharged yet. After the doctor gave a series of instructions, seeing that Sophia had listened, only then did he leave with peace of mind. Before long, Sophia's assistant rushed to the hospital. Miss Sophia, you're finally awake. That's wonderful. After Assistant Yang finished reporting company matters, he said, Miss Sophia, the investigation you asked me to do on William's experiences abroad has been completed 6 years ago. William and an artist named Anthony went to France together to live. After that, the two of them moved between multiple countries. The last city they lived in was Sicily, Italy. That Anthony was good-looking, sweet-talking. He deceived many men and spent money like water. Many men who lost their usefulness would be sold by him for money. The Zhang family's money was all emptied this way. Even the Zhang parents' car accident abroad happened on their way to find William. William was sold, still counting money for that Anthony. Only at the last moment did he realize something was wrong and fled back to the country. After the assistant finished saying this, he stood in place, looking at Sophia's calm, expressionless face, not knowing what else to say. I understand. Go take care of your business. Sophia dismissed him and pulled at the corner of her mouth, forcing an ugly smile. Sophia never could have imagined. 6 years ago, William said he was going to pursue his true love, but a scoundrel of a fraud could fool William into abandoning her. 6 years later, William returned from abroad, claiming over and over that he loved her, but it was just to escape his previous victim. From beginning to end, how much of this love was real, how much was fake? Even William himself probably couldn't say clearly. And what about herself? 6 years ago, she was desperate over this man. 6 years later, she lost everything she loved because of this man. Sophia, who had always been decisive in business, for the first time felt she was a fool, a complete and utter fool. Even she herself couldn't understand why, when William returned to the country, she had to rush toward him regardless of everything, letting the pure love between her and me become tainted with countless deceptions and betrayals. Now her child with me was gone. I had jumped into the sea and died. What reason did she have left to live? The decision came in an instant. Sophia looked at the gloomy sky outside the window, step by step walking to the window ledge, but seeing the solid railings outside the window, she smiled bitterly and stepped back. No good. If I go to accompany you, would that be bad? Or are you still resenting me? Sophia knelt on the ground, as if immersed in her own world, constantly apologizing to me. When the butler came to check, he was instead pushed to the ground by Sophia. Don't interfere with me, get out. All of you get out. The hospital room made quite a commotion. Nurses quickly ran over, and seeing Sophia's abnormal state, called a doctor who gave her a sedative injection. Only then did things calm down. 3 days later, Sophia was discharged. While the butler was handling discharge procedures, Sophia unconsciously was drawn to a man by the hospital entrance. Gordon. Sophia chased after him regardless of everything. Closer and closer, closer and closer. Sophia grabbed that man's arm, feeling the vivid touch at her fingertips. Sophia was so excited her hands trembled uncontrollably. Gordon. The man turned to look at Sophia, his eyes showing a moment of confusion, but then he smiled. Did you mistake me for someone else? Here, have this chocolate, it might make you feel better. Sophia looked at the person before her. In a trance, this stranger's face overlapped with mine. For a moment, Sophia couldn't tell the difference. Could there be such a coincidence? Similar silhouette, same hairstyle, same brand of chocolate, and also at a hospital, where I had appeared with Sophia. Sophia's instincts told her this suddenly appearing man couldn't be so simple. Excuse me, you look very much like a friend of mine. May I ask your name? Sophia said, excuse me, but her hands gripped tighter and tighter, as if she wouldn't let go unless he answered. The man opposite didn't mind Sophia's unreasonable behavior, smiling back. Maybe I have a common face. My name is Ryan. I hope I get a chance to meet your friend. Then let's exchange contact information. Over the following period, even without deliberately contacting, Sophia always seemed to run into Ryan. Sometimes at the company entrance, sometimes in the parking garage, sometimes at restaurants she frequented. Ryan's appearance seemed to let Sophia briefly forget the pain of my departure. The relationship between the two developed naturally. Before long, Ryan moved into Sophia's villa. Everyone at the villa, seeing Sophia's condition, had improved considerably, also felt relieved. Somehow William learned about this. Early that morning, William, with disheveled hair, ran over in a wretched state, confronting Sophia. "Sophia, you're just a fickle bastard yourself. When Gordon died, you acted like you wanted to die. You blamed his death on me, but look at you. You turned around and found another man, brazenly bringing him home. Don't deny it. Even without me, you would have fallen for another man. You even aborted my child. You're a murderer. Sophia, you unforgivable bastard." Ever since witnessing Sophia abort the child, William had become increasingly dejected. His calls and messages were all blocked by Sophia. When he tried to come to the villa to find Sophia, he was always discovered by bodyguards and dragged away. William finally managed to get in today, determined to vent all his recent frustrations. Completely, William cursed with increasing fervor. Looking at Sophia's cold, heartless face, he became even more emotionally agitated, grabbing a fruit knife from behind, waving it as he stabbed toward her. "Watch out," the cold gleam of the blade, just a few centimeters away. The knife tip was about to pierce Sophia's chest. Ryan's face turned white with terror. In a flash he lunged toward Sophia, blocking this strike for her. William, seeing that he had stabbed someone, stared wide-eyed in disbelief. After a long moment he stumbled backward and dropped the knife, then ran away in panic. Ryan took this stab solidly, blood flowing steadily from his back, his face completely drained of color, but the corner of his mouth secretly revealed a trace of a smile. He finally heard the system alert. "System alert. Target's current darkness level is 80. After I left, this strategy world once again experienced massive fluctuations." Ryan was the next strategist, but his smile hadn't lasted even 2 seconds when he heard the system alerts sounding one after another continuously. "System alert. Target's current darkness level is 90. System alert. Target's current darkness level is 40. System alert. Target's current love index is 20. System alert. Target's current love index is 80. The data was fluctuating rapidly, with no discernible pattern. "Warning, warning. System error. System error." After a few short electronic beeps, Ryan could no longer summon the system. Looking at Sophia in confusion, he only saw Sophia, radiating a bone-chilling coldness, staring directly at him, her lips moving to speak terrifying words. "Ryan, you're not from this world." Sophia wasn't even asking him. Her certain tone frightened Ryan into backing away, but Sophia pressed forward step by step, those ruthless hands gripping his fragile neck tightly. The power of the world's female lead was not to be underestimated. With just a little force she could take his life. "Tell me where Gordon is." Sophia had never believed I would jump into the sea to commit suicide. During that time at sea, she was unwilling to admit it, afraid to believe it. But when she returned from the sea to the villa, each and everything reminded her that my departure was premeditated. Even jumping into the sea was part of my plan. William was perhaps just an insignificant variable in my departure plan. On my phone calendar, I had specially marked that day, with just 4 words, "Leave world." Sophia, looking at these words, found them strange no matter how she looked, until she met the mysteriously appearing Ryan. All the scattered threads finally formed a complete line. "If you don't want to die, tell me everything you know." Sophia's hands continuously applied pressure. Ryan was tightly gripped, unable to breathe any fresh air, snot and tears streaming down his face, his eyeballs nearly popping out. Tell, let me go." Sophia released her grip. Ryan's legs went weak and couldn't support him, collapsing to the ground, gasping for air. He couldn't contact the system. Sophia looked completely insane. No matter what, saving his life was most important. Ryan spilled everything like beans from a bamboo tube, telling her all about the system and strategies, completely and clearly. "Gordon isn't from this world. This is a strategy world. The female lead of this world is also her target." After completing the strategy, she returned to her original world. Ryan's words shocked Sophia greatly. Only now did Sophia finally understand when she confessed to me what I had said. "Then you must always love me. If you don't love me, I'll leave. Don't lie to me. I know everything." At the time, she had naively thought I was acting coquettish, wanting her to promise she'd always love me, but it had actually been a warning. I was a strategist. With the system's help, if I wanted, then all of Sophia's secrets would be exposed. Those lies told to accompany William, whether clumsy or clever, had actually all been laid bare. Whether William provoked or not didn't matter. From the moment Sophia's love shifted, I knew everything. Sophia finally saw through all the truth, but the truth was too heavy to bear. Everything was just her own doing. She could blame no one else. At least I was still alive. She still had a chance to make amends. How can I see him? Sophia was desperately impatient, but Ryan only shook his head, trembling. I don't know either. What about that system you mentioned? I told you I can't contact it now. Sophia cursed, narrowing her eyes to ask, why can't you contact it? It seems the data fluctuation caused a system error. Sophia laughed lightly, after confirming that this method of controlling the so-called system was effective. She said, when the system recovers, remember to tell him to send me to Gordon. Ryan lowered his head, not daring to respond. Sophia didn't mind, continuing leisurely. Otherwise, let the system keep erroring until this world completely collapses. We can all die together. That would actually be quite satisfying. I've long since not wanted to live anyway. Sophia's voice wasn't loud, but her tone was certain. Ryan didn't dare doubt a word she said. He could tell Sophia really wanted to perish together with this world. Madwoman. A few days later, the system data finally recovered. Ryan hurriedly conveyed Sophia's words to the system word for word, not forgetting to add drama. Sophia is a madwoman. She's discovered the system. If you don't agree to her terms, we'll all die here. The system will be scrapped too. This was the system's first encounter with such a situation. It hurriedly reported upward. After several more days of waiting, the system finally appeared again. But this time the strategist changed from Ryan to Sophia. Sophia reached an agreement with the system. She would exist as a strategist from now on. As long as she completed 99 strategy missions, she could end her strategist career and freely choose which world to live in afterward. This, naturally, included the world where I existed. Before binding, the system reminded her that 99 strategy missions would be difficult. Completing them all might take more than 10 years, or even decades. Are you really decided? Sophia answered without a moment's hesitation. I've decided. I'm willing. Months of anguish were finally swept away. Heaven had finally given her a chance, no matter what the cost. Sophia absolutely wouldn't miss it. After all, this was her only chance to see me again. After the binding was complete, a blinding white light flashed before Sophia's eyes. When she opened them again, she was already in a completely unfamiliar world. Sophia, after receiving the strategy mission for this world, immediately sprang into action. In less than 3 years, Sophia completed 40 strategy missions. Sophia worked almost without rest. Sometimes, even the system would actively urge her to rest, but she didn't dare rest. Would I fall in love with someone else in my own world? Sophia didn't dare think about it. She just wanted to see me as quickly as possible. Even if she could be just 1 second faster, she would gladly accept it. But my timeline wouldn't stop for Sophia. In the 7th year, after returning to my original world, I got married. The bride was tall, gentle-looking, very artistic. When looking at me, her eyes were always softly tender. I would fall for such a pair of eyes. Sophia wasn't surprised. Actually, everything about my life in the original world, Sophia could see. It seemed the system had compassionately given her this small privilege. 2 years ago, I went to teach in the West. That person went to the Northwest for artistic inspiration. A landslide blocked the road ahead. The two of us met there. After that, in photos that had previously only captured landscapes, a gentle man appeared, sometimes smiling, sometimes frowning, sometimes pretending to be angry at the camera. Though the expressions varied, I was always vibrant in those photos. Sophia's fingers traced over those photographs, tears falling as she looked. She had once taken photos of me too. We had many, many photos together, but unfortunately, they were all burned. She couldn't blame me for being heartless, only blame herself for not knowing how to treasure them. I had my own ideals, my own career. I wasn't someone who could stay idle, yet for her I stayed in that strange world, willingly trapped in a luxurious villa. Sophia thought what she had done wrong was more than just one thing. On my wedding day, Sophia had the system send a bouquet. Just an ordinary bouquet, as proof that Sophia had once been there. After the wedding, the system once asked Sophia whether she wanted to end the strategy missions early. Gordon is already married. Based on efficiency, the strategy missions you've completed during this time have already exceeded expectations. If you don't want to continue, I can apply to send you back to your original world. But Sophia only shook her head. A world without Gordon. I won't go anywhere. Finally, in the 10th year of strategizing, Sophia completed her 99 strategy missions, successfully arriving in my world. Sophia specially put on the set I had once given her, a white custom dress, styled her hair neatly and elegantly, applied exquisite beautiful makeup, then, in front of the mirror, carefully plucked out those few conspicuous gray hairs at her temples. Only after confirming everything was perfect did she follow the system's guidance to a large amusement park. The system said I would be there. After 10 years, Sophia had lost her former commanding presence, gaining instead a more gentle temperament. Along the way, she attracted many glances, but Sophia's heart was only focused on me. The amusement park was huge. Sophia walked for nearly an hour. Suddenly her eyes lit up. Gordon. Sophia walked closer in a daze, but after seeing clearly, she seemed rooted to the spot, unable to take another step. At the carousel, I held my adorable daughter, on a white little flying horse. The child's laughter carried far, happily shouting at the camera nearby, "Mommy, Mommy, I want to kiss Daddy." The woman holding the camera pretended to be angry, scolding, "You can't kiss Daddy. Daddy is mine." I laughed heartily, sometimes looking down at them, sometimes looking up at my beloved not far away. Sophia stepped back and hid to the side, like a dark voyeur, peering at that happiness. That long brewing call of Gordon still wasn't voiced in the end. She and I had once had a child too. It was just so small then. She didn't even know if it was a boy or girl. If it had been a girl, she would have bought her the prettiest little dresses. If the person holding the camera were her, how wonderful that would be. But unfortunately, these could only be fantasies. Sophia lowered her head in defeat, letting the pain spread. When she looked up again, I had disappeared. Sophia frantically searched everywhere, turning around. A woman was blocking her path. "Miss, do you know my husband? You were staring at him just now." Sophia had a momentary impulse to say I'm his wife. They had never divorced, but this impulse was quickly suppressed by reason. Sophia just shook her head, saying calmly, "I'm sorry. I was thinking of my daughter. She's abroad and rarely comes back." Hearing Sophia's words, the person looked apologetic. Sophia didn't mind, even asking her to take over an ice cream. The little girl's eyes almost squinted with joy upon seeing the ice cream. After hearing what her mother said, she waved vigorously in Sophia's direction. "Thank you, Auntie." "Goodbye, Auntie." I also looked over, but only saw a lonely departing figure. Sophia didn't dare disturb me further. Leaving dejectedly, she reminded herself over and over. Her original wish had been fulfilled. Now she could live in the same world as me, watching me be happy. Wasn't that enough? Even if the person who possessed my happiness wasn't herself, she was content. Sophia walked far with her head down before reluctantly looking back again. The amusement park bustled with people. I was long out of sight. Sophia forced a smile, revealing an ugly grin. "Gordon, I hope you can continue being this happy forever. Goodbye, my love."